What should I make a video on next? I don't even want to play this. Let's see. Oh no. Oh no. Not two worlds! Hello everyone, Thievishlogin here, also known as Meg749. Today I'm bringing you one of my biggest guilty pleasures in gaming. Now don't get me wrong, I don't think this game is good by most standards of video games. But it is the video game equivalent of The Room, Troll 2, or Suburban Sasquatch. What I'm trying to say is this game is so bad in all the right places that it's actually a fantastic game. This of course is Two Worlds, an action RPG made by Polish developers Reality Pump and published by South Peak Games and Topware Interactive. Not to be confused with Tripwire Interactive, who made Red Orchestra and Killing Floor games, and yeah, that other game. Yeah, it's gonna be a whole other video of its own. Much like other Polish ARPGs, Two Worlds features bad voice acting.
Oh, I apologize. I am so worried about my son.
Clunky but enjoyable combat, and characters that could probably one-shot you until you get to about the halfway point of the game and basically become God. But we'll touch on that later. So let's get into the story. So your name is the Bounty Hunter, or at least that's what everyone refers to you as, and you need to find your sister Kira, who was abducted several months ago by hooded figures wearing armor. So you need to bash, slash, and twirl your way to getting your sister back, by complying with their demands and tracking down pieces of an ancient seal to open the tomb of the God of Fire. You get all that? Good. Along the way, you meet ridiculously powerful enemies and a whole bunch of bad acting. Mind you, these ridiculously powerful enemies are really slow and you can just run past them most of the time. So, I mean, it's not really that much of a problem. The gameplay, in a sense, is very much like Oblivion, where you attack with the left mouse. You also have a dedicated spell button, but unlike Oblivion, having a shield is more just an added protection against getting dust in your eyes or something, with occasional parries you have no control over. Which is also very pointless, as I said. Some of the enemies will kill you in one hit unless you are in an extremely high level. But maybe I'd just try to rush through the game without taking the time to level up. I don't really like grinding on low-level bandits and groms for like 3.5 hours, but it is a fun game. So I give it the time of day, you know? Maybe that's also because everywhere you go, enemies tend to also outnumber you, making killing enemies even the same level as you quite difficult. Oh, what's that? You wanna walk down the road? Well, here's 6 groms with a shaman whose spell one-hit kills you. Or 7 bandits trying to steal all your gold, who also are incredibly high health. Strange gameplay aside, this game has very interesting mechanics that make grinding on enemies not so awful. One mechanic, I suppose my favorite, that I wish other open-world RPGs would include, is the equipment merging, quote-unquote, where if you have multiple of the same equipment, weapons or armor, you can merge them together to make them stronger. Unlike other RPGs, where you have 55 hunting rifles halfway through the game and you can't sell them all because you already have everyone's money. Also, the weapon crystals in this game is one of my favorite enchanting methods I've seen in a while, save for Morrowind's enchanting. You can find crystals on enemies and apply those crystals to your weapons to do certain types of damage. The damage types are fire, frost, poison, lightning, and spirit. They increase the damage in percentiles of your weapon damage, so if you slap a 10% crystal onto a weapon with 100 damage, you'll do 10 damage of that type you put onto it. The magic system in this game is just broken.
Take it they did not wish to do this?
To explain myself, the magic is card-based, so the more cards you find, the more you can stack on one spell. I'm unsure whether or not there's an upper limit to the amount of cards you can stack on a spell, so that may kneecap this. But stacking cards, if you haven't already guessed, makes spells more powerful, at the cost of using more mana. But there are also booster cards that amplify effects, or lower mana cost, among other things. Meaning if you find these boosters, You can make a fireball spell that does insane amounts of damage while only costing minimal mana. So let's talk about the world. Besides the terrible voice acting, the characters and world are interesting enough to keep you occupied for a good bit. The map is large. I would say it's almost the same size of Oblivion, if not larger, and the horizon is dotted with these strange towers that you can see from almost anywhere in the game. And the closer you get to the towers, you can bet the baddies will get tougher too. Also, the towers are occupied almost all the time by necromancers and their ilk. Each tower is supposed to represent an element. There's water, fire, earth, and death. And not to mention air, but, you know, air is just kind of whatever. And also, apparently death is an element, according to this game. It's supposed to... It is supposed to represent necromancy as a school of magic, because each of these, they're not so much elements, they're more schools of magic they represent. But apparently one tower just has to be the edgy kid, so that's always fun. I don't really have anything else to say about the characters that isn't already immensely obvious.
I do not care how he smells.
So let's talk about the music. Now, I'm no music person, though I am a self-proclaimed audiophile. But the music in this is a strange mix of clarinets and just general orchestra, with mixed-in pop vocals. One song that I find strange is Track 2, also known as Play the Game. It's quite meta in terms of its name. Also, the fact that it's what plays on the main menu. When you open up the game, the first thing that greets you is a song that's telling you to play the game. It's wonderfully awful. Most of the other music is your average orchestral stuff, similar to Oblivion or Skyrim. Not quite as memorable, though. The funny thing is, this game's music is composed by Harold Faltermeyer, who's most famous for Axel F. from Beverly Hills Cop, and several other tunes from popular movies. Now, I'm not trying to rip off Ross Scott or any other game reviewers, but I feel that this game needs some awards for its sheer strangeness. First award, Irreparable Damage. The magic system in this game is so horribly broken, not to mention the second game's magic system. I don't think it could ever be fixed, even in the third game, which is allotted to be coming out in the next year or two. Second award, More Polish over More Polish. I have to assume the voice talent in this game is all Polish. I can't explain the voice acting in any other way, but it's supreme. It is supreme in the amount of just laughability it has to it. It makes the game just like, makes it just, I fucking love it. I want more Polish games with terrible voice acting. Give me, please. Third award, Open and Closed. This is one of the very few open world games that came out in the 2000s that I don't hear anyone talking about. And it's not the worst. I know it can't stand up to games like Oblivion and Gothic, but the amount of love and care that went into the world of this game is astounding, and I think it needs a little more recognition in the open world community. So that's the review. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a like, and it'll make me feel justified in how much time I put into these crappy reviews. Remember the fish one? I put too much time into that. Okay, and if you feel like it, subscribe for more oddly spaced and strangely paced videos about games people hate. I've been Thievishlogin, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Would you? Why cannot Skeldenhouse put an end to the rebellion? Is the Karga clan so strong?